It's aviation's final frontier. Cowboy pilots who deliver small, used aircraft.
Why is this thing not working? Freaking A, man.
Across distances they were never meant to fly.
This is the most extreme type of flying you can do.
There's a right way to fly an airplane and there's a wrong way.
They take on the deadliest flights, ride out the wildest weather.
I can't see anything, nothing.
Every plane I fly in, I expect is trying to kill me.
And do whatever it takes to survive. But as long as there's money and fuel to burn,
Smell that jet A.
What was that?
they'll live to fly another day.
Let's roll.
About 80 kilometers east of San Francisco,
CB Aviation, the scoring?
a pilot embarks on a risky journey to change his own destiny.
No, you don't understand. We're set to depart tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.
Corey Benson recently walked away from a lucrative car dealership to follow his passion for aviation.
I knew there was a big risk, and I knew there was a very good chance that I wasn't going to make the money that I was making in the car business, but I wanted to do something that I loved.
Corey's new job, selling and delivering small second-hand planes. In the industry, it's called ferry flying. And only pilots with nerves of steel need apply. They fly anything, anywhere, anytime. From single-engine planes, through turboprops, and multi-million-dollar jets. If it has wings, they'll take it, no matter how far
Well, we're not in Kansas anymore, man.
or how dangerous.
Bro, that's bad.
It's a radical career change, but Corey is committed.
I'm the type of guy that when I decide I'm going to do it, I'm going to find a way to make it work. I never look back. I don't want to get back in the car business. I've basically put all of my eggs in this one basket, and I will make it work.
And here's the plane that Corey hopes will jumpstart his dream. This Merlin III, a sleek turboprop built in 1980. Corey bought it in California and sold it to a customer in Australia. To pick up his check, he's gonna have to fly the plane on a treacherous journey across the Pacific Ocean. The problem is, the Merlin doesn't have the fuel capacity. So Corey's hired a team of aviation mechanics to install an auxiliary fuel system inside the cabin. A retrofit that will turn the plane into a potential flying bomb.
So let's go and check the system out. Now we're gonna stick in the aircraft.
Everything's new and unfamiliar, especially this jury-rigged backup fuel system.
So let's say that you want to use the right tank first. What you do then is that you open this valve here, and you open this valve here.
Okay.
The fuel control panel was built with a mix of aircraft, automotive, and plumbing parts.
Put this the way it should be, okay? It's gonna be this way.
And these two aluminum tanks will be installed in the cockpit, each filled with over 300 liters of fuel.
Let's disconnect this one here
It really looks kind of rinky-dink.
and put it on this side.
You're starting to make me a little nervous. You're thinking about that there's going to be 9 hours we're going to be over water, and we've got to control the fuel tanks on top of that. I want to make sure it works. I want to make sure it works right, and that we completely understand how to work this.
So what happens if we had something with the airplane go wrong, where we lost power, where it wasn't powering either of the inverters?
Let's say you lose these two here. You lose everything on the aircraft and pressurization. You don't want that. You're in trouble.
That's one of the scariest part about being a ferry pilot, is you're in an unfamiliar airplane going somewhere very dangerous.
Most of the people survive. You know, some of them die, of course, but most of them survive.
This will be a steep learning curve for Corey. And it just got even steeper, because he's landed another job.
Perfect. Okay. In the aircraft delivery business, you never know when the plane's going to be ready. Sometimes there's 2 or 3 flights that come together at the same time, which has happened here.
Corey was hired to move a single-engine Cessna 206, but this one is over 35 years old. So he's hired a top-notch team to take on the flight for him.
Well, you get a good feeling to see if she's ready to go across the water, which we need her to be ready to go across the water. So,
Bob Rasky has logged over 23,000 hours in every kind of flying machine, from commercial airliners to fighter jets.
I'll let you get up.
Okay.
You're younger and more agile, so.
His co-pilot, Yasmina Platt, has a fraction of that experience. Just 600 hours in small planes.
That looks good there.
But she's hungry for more.
Be here and going flying? Awesome. There's nothing better in the world than to go flying. Yeah, baby's gonna treat us well, right? You're gonna treat us good?
This will be the trip of a lifetime. A flight over 10,000 kilometers long, from California to Poland, across the frigid waters of the North Atlantic. And they've never flown together.
Clear, bro!
This first test flight will be a great way to break the ice.
The engine sounds good though so far.
It's very solid.
Anything else, Captain?
Nope. We're good to go. Gotta do that.
I'm gonna need to learn this one.
It's just one of many. One of many.
Okay, all right.
Whoa.
But just minutes into the test flight,
Look at that thing.
That doesn't respond.
the old Cessna is misbehaving.
Oh, it's not working?
Nope.
Uh-oh.
The left aileron trim is not responding.
Well, we tested them on the ground. They did work then.
The aileron trim is a hinged flap on the edge of the wing. It controls the plane's rolling motion. With the left trim stuck, the plane is rolling to the right.
They're coming down.
Okay, so descend.
Bob decides to land. But he fights to control the plane.
Good job.
We're down.
Could just be old. If it can break, it will.
Back in the hangar, the mechanic discovers serious evidence of neglect.
You know, it could be caused just by the age of the aircraft or just the fact that it's been sitting for so long. We thought we had a safe airplane.
It will take some detective work to figure out why the aileron trim got stuck, and whether this is an isolated incident or a sign of even bigger problems. Either way, this old lady is grounded.
You want me to keep running it?
Yeah.
From the safety angle, this delay is unavoidable. But for Corey's new business, it's a killer.
Every day we delay it, it costs us money with pilot fees and hotels and everything else. And so from a business standpoint, I'm always pushing the pilots.
With the Cessna in the hangar, Corey is pushing hard to make sure his mechanics keep his first delivery job on schedule. The Merlin 3 turboprop.
They're away anything. Be careful when you walk out.
The auxiliary fuel tanks are ready to be installed.
Just hang on.
Flying this tricked-out aircraft is going to take a special kind of pilot. Someone who won't get spooked by a couple of fuel tanks sitting where the passengers are supposed to be. And someone with enough experience to help Corey on the tricky Pacific crossing.
Let's get out of here.
It's a job for Captain Randy McGeehee.
All right, let's get out of here. Okay.
He'll be Corey's partner on this flight.
This flight will be the first time Corey and I have ever flown together. It's not normal to take such a big, difficult flight together as your first flight. Normally you ease into it with a more routine little flight, but we're kind of going for it on this.
Now that Corey's got a real pro on board, the full magnitude of this challenge is kicking in.
At this weight and at these speeds, the airplane's going to be very hard to control. So we don't control the plane, we've got no chance at all.
Most of the added weight is fuel.
And now the tricky part, not to spill. Smell that Jet A.
And with 2 extra fuel tanks as front row passengers, this plane delivery is definitely not business as usual.
Now, this is the first time I've ever fueled an airplane from the inside.
But just when they're finally ready to go, a heavy fog rolls in.
This is really low. We can't take off like this. Not with the weight that we're at. Not with what we're trying to do today.
I don't want to be stuck here. We need to get this airplane down there. We can almost see the control tower now. You've got different...
Control tower? Control tower's right there. All I see is a bunch of milky white fog. You can't even see the taxiway or the runway.
Corey and Randy haven't even left the ground yet, and already they're in a standoff.
We're overweight. We're not going to have great climb performance. We've got mountains out here. I mean, if things go really bad, we could end up dead. We're going to go when it's clear, and that's when we're going to go. All right, and that's the end of it.
All right. We're not going to do any more of these flights. If it takes us months to get the airplanes to our clients, they're not going to want to buy anything from us, and then we'll end up going bankrupt. We need to get going now.
Corey needed an experienced pilot for this job, and Randy McGeehee fit the bill.
So we need 3,800 pounds aside to fill it up?
But Corey's the boss, and that can mean competing agendas.
When it's outside of the airplane, then Corey's the boss and he's making the decisions. I follow his lead, but when it comes to inside the cockpit, I'm the boss and I'm calling the shots. And we're gonna do what I say we're gonna do.
Clear, departure's clear, clear.
Randy didn't like the look of the weather and delayed the flight's departure. But now that the fog is cleared, they're all set to go.
It's hot out here. We don't have as much wind as in our faces yesterday, but we're gonna take off. In the event of an engine failure, we got a nice long runway here, so once I have the airplane under control, you can call tower and let them know. Otherwise, we'll return here for a visual land. Okay, we'll take off.
Just gonna use all the runway we can.
Normally, they'd be in the air by now, but they're halfway down the runway, and the plane isn't lifting off.
100. 115, 120.
The heavy turboprop sucks up 1,200 meters of runway, a lot more than it should.
Plane is just a pig, you know? No, that's not fair. We're just always so overhead. Yeah, we're 15,000 pounds right now.
They should be climbing 4 times faster.
The winds down here are actually less. Our fuel flow is higher because we're so much lower than we thought, but we don't have the performance to climb up there.
At this lower altitude, the denser air puts more drag on the plane, which burns more fuel. They'll need to climb up to where the air is thinner and keep an eye on the fuel gauges if they want to make it all the way to Australia. Back in California, Corey's second delivery is running behind schedule. The aging Cessna still needs a little TLC before she can take off on the transatlantic trip to Poland.
Okay, we're going where Bob is staying.
And co-pilot Yasmina Platt takes advantage of the downtime to prepare for the dangerous journey ahead.
I just want to see the survival equipment that he has. I'm a little worried about the weight and balance on the plane.
The flying time from California to Poland is about 70 hours, going across the continental US and above the icy waters of the North Atlantic Ocean.
Oh my God. You're kidding me. We're taking all this?
There's more. I just don't want to scare you.
There's more?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Bob Rasky flies commercial airliners. But for 25 years, he was a U.S. Air Force instructor pilot, an F-16 flight lead, and a combat search and rescue pilot.
Sure, okay, so like...
He believes in coming prepared.
See what we got here. I want to see like if we can prioritize some of this. Okay, I understand some of the stuff is required, right? Like the rafts and stuff, which we don't even have here, which that's going to take up a lot of weight and space too.
Because if it was single engine over the Atlantic, there were no options, you know?
I think he is a little bit obsessed, but that's what he's trained for, and you got military training, which I didn't, you know? And he's probably been in situations where he might have gotten scared.
We have to take the required items.
Sure.
And that's actually, a lot of these things are required items.
Even a U.S. flag.
Yes, even the U.S. flag, because this can give you motivation out there, give yourself a sense of, I'm gonna live,
Wave it.
I'm gonna make it, you know? Her concern is the airplane gets there on time, meeting a delivery schedule, and that's a very valid concern. My concern is the plane just gets there, period. In the North Atlantic, you know, with 10 to 20-foot seas, I mean, it's gonna be not easy to get that plane stopped straight ahead and just get out. I'm envisioning something hit, and we may even go upside down.
Right.
And that's the training we've gone through. You know,
It's really kind of scaring me.
For Yasmina, the idea of a crash landing in the North Atlantic has just become chillingly real.
Once Bob started talking about, you know, we really need to take this and, you know, we're gonna use this here, it just kind of started making me really very nervous, to be honest with you.
The next morning, Yasmina gives the plane a thorough safety check.
It's very serious. We're losing fuel. And, you know, that's just on the ground, but if we did go up in the air, who knows if we would be losing even more fuel.
A few hours ago, she thought Bob was being overly cautious, but the fuel leak has proved him right.
You see how it's leaking, right? Like through the fuselage?
Uh-huh, yeah.
That one's really weird. And then it goes all the way back, and then it's dripping down here. So really, we have two. So frustrating.
The airplane mechanic takes a look and doesn't like what he sees.
You could have caught fire when you're flying, the engine running. I mean, your exhaust is right here, right next to where it's leaking.
Yeah, fire is the second thing I'm mostly scared of. The combination of fire and ocean would not be good. Yeah. Although, I think I would still put it down, because I think I would still rather go down in the ocean than be burned.
Fixing this new problem means more delays. That's okay with Bob, because with his kind of experience, he's got nothing to prove.
You know, fuel, hot, metal, not a good combo, so we don't play around with that. The plane's not going to move until it's fixed. I'm not under the clock. I don't have any pressure. We want to get plane, us, there safely. #1 goal.
Almost 2,000 kilometers away, off the coast of California, Corey and Randy are fast approaching the halfway point on the first leg of their journey. So, it's time to make a critical decision.
Our fuel burn is higher by 500 to 600 pounds, which is half our reserves. One more strike and we're pretty much out of the game. We're really gonna have to consider turning around.
Ferry pilots call it the point of no return, when there's enough fuel left in the tanks to turn around, but if they go any further, there's no coming back.
This is literally the point. We gotta get it right, for real.
They've burned more fuel than they expected, and the auxiliary fuel tanks don't have gauges, so Corey estimates the amount of fuel they have left by checking the tanks manually.
We're burning more fuel than we expected to burn. We're 8,000 feet less than we thought.
Randy goes through another set of calculations before making his decision.
So yeah, that's 70 more gallons an hour, and we're looking at almost 8 hours. So that leaves us with 300 in the tank. But the winds are gonna die down and we're gonna do better on this. We're gonna make it up. We're good, we're going, we're going.
Randy's taking a calculated risk. But that's what this business is all about. And this time, it pays off. Today, at least, it looks like the Sharks won't be chowing down on ferry pilots for lunch.
We're gonna make it, man. Nice job, El Capitan.
And now, they're dropping into their first pit stop.
Hawaii, here we come. So we're gonna land with a little over an hour of fuel.
Just a few hours ago, Corey wasn't so sure they were going to make it. Now, he's happy that he put Randy in the driver's seat.
Gear coming down. Got the runway in sight. Slap set. Hydraulic pressures in the green. Prop sync is off. Nicely done. It's a nice landing though, Randy. Holy crap, we made it.
Congratulations.
Right, thank you.
In Hawaii, they get the traditional greeting. But Corey and Randy are on the lookout for the gas man.
I don't care if we got fuel spilling out.
We don't care if you spill a little bit. We're gonna measure, and we wanna get a precise amount of how much fuel he's putting in, both tanks, so we can then subtract how much fuel we burned over the first leg, and so we know exactly how much fuel we burned.
They made the first leg from California to Hawaii with just 1 hour of fuel left in the tanks. Next stop, Pago Pago in American Samoa. And this time, they want to be dead sure they won't run out of fuel before they get there.
Yeah, let's get out of here because I can tell the way the air feels, it's really hot and humid. So as the day progresses, that air's gonna heat up and those thunderstorms are building. Yeah, let's get the hell out of here.
Back in California, mechanics have sunk more than 10 hours into the Cessna. Now they think the old plane is good to go.
Hopefully that's the last thing that's gonna break on this plane.
Yeah, I never want to see this one again.
I'm just trying to get the airplane ready, and so now it's time to go.
That is beautiful.
And if the weather holds up, Bob and Yasmina can finally take off and start clocking some serious flight time.
Heck, crossing the Atlantic is much more exciting. In a small airplane, it's going to give me a whole different perspective of aviation. And along the way, I'll be thinking, how beautiful the scenery is, but also how deadly it could be.
And there are few places in the world so vast, unpredictable, and unforgiving as the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be really big for my career. We're probably gonna put about 50 hours on the airplane between the test flights and the flights themselves. To this day, when I see some of these airplanes, it's like, wow.
I went ahead, went out, did the run up and everything, props fixed, fuel straighter's good to go, so you guys are ready?
Thank you.
Take care.
Appreciate
We'll see
it.
you.
Yeah, we're so excited. It's starting to really become true. All right, we're good.
Good to go?
Good to go.
The Cessna lifts off, beginning the first leg of a long journey. Destination, Poland, via the east coast of the United States.
So engine sounds pretty strong, right?
It does, I like it.
It's gonna be like 7 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours of it.
Yeah, so there's the Golden Gate.
Wow, absolutely beautiful day in San Francisco Bay. Now look, if guys can make it from Alcatraz and swim to the shore and survive, then we can make it in the middle of the North Atlantic if we need to.
You want to try it before we go?
Like you would.
399 can take off from center 1.
Oh.
Whoa.
20 minutes out, the old Cessna runs into a patch of rough air.
Whoa. We're getting this turbine. Whoa.
The first sign of trouble ahead.
Whoa.
Any rougher, these winds could do some serious damage.
Okay, your seatbelt on? Good?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh.
Bob decides to climb higher, hoping to escape the danger above the clouds.
Hang on. Okay, going up to 1,000, right?
Yes.
Hold on. Oh. This plane just can't climb, you know? I think after we top this one, we'll get a little better ride.
Overweight and loaded down with fuel, the Cessna struggles to reach clear skies.
Come on, baby. Bring us up there.
This nice old machine. Hang in there.
Cool. There we go.
In the clear, in the clear.
At this altitude, the aircraft is out of the danger zone.
No, whoa, it's clear ahead now. Woo! I like it.
6,000 miles to go, okay?
Yay!
But all it takes is one short moment for everything to change.
Oh, what's that, man? Okay, I got the airplane.
Oh my God!
As soon as they reach their cruising altitude, a heavy stream of fuel starts flowing out of the right wing.
Hey, Center, this is 2192 Quebec. Go ahead. Yeah, we're gonna need to divert to Santa Barbara or the nearest airport right now.
Is this an emergency?
Yeah, we have, looks like a leaking fuel tank,
112 Quebec, unable forward, your soul's on board.
2, souls on board.
12 Quebec, roger that. Heading's gonna take you to the south end for the airport.
The leak, it's still running. I wish there was a way that we could stop it from coming in.
The closest airport is in Santa Barbara, 10 minutes away.
Yeah, I'm just concerned about electrical fire.
Absolutely.
That would just not be good at all.
Fire in the air, a pilot's worst fear. And with fuel pouring out of the Cessna's tank, all it'll take is one spark to turn the cabin into a fireball.
It's really, like, pretty bad.
Okay, so it is leaking pretty good back there, okay?
Yeah.
Bob and Yasmina have to get their wheels on the ground before they're blown out of the sky.
Okay, I got us going towards Santa Barbara right now.
All right, and I have Santa Barbara on the GPS as well, so we can just, use that.
Okay.
You got the airplane right?
Out of the airplane, we're heading towards Santa Barbara.
They're aiming for an emergency landing.
So you know, since you are leaking fuel, we are going to roll the equipment for you.
Okay, keep bringing me in. Wow, it's coming to the door. Okay, so what's the distance to Santa Barbara right now?
20 miles.
Will you be able to make the descent from your present position?
We can.
On the ground, emergency response units rush to the airstrip, preparing for the worst. They're on the ground, but still not out of danger. Bob unscrews the fuel cap to release pressure and explosive fumes from the tank. As the emergency crew takes over, Yasmina finally allows herself to think about how close they came to total disaster.
This could have been really bad. We could have had an electrical fire in in a second. And imagine on top of that, it would have happened over the water. Now we're really screwed. Now we have an engine on fire, and the only place we can go is the water. That's all that you're thinking, really.
Halfway across the Pacific Ocean, just south of the equator, Corey and Randy are flying straight into a dangerous roller coaster ride with a very scary name, the Intertropical Convergence Zone.
This is really dangerous. Turbulence down here is extreme. There are like little bombs going off everywhere.
It's like a deadly beltway that circles the globe, where warm sea temperatures lower the surface air pressure and create a massive, violent mixture of wind surges, clouds, and rainfall.
So we're either gonna have to punch through, or we're gonna have to divert a couple hundred miles, and I don't think we got the fuel for that. Holy crap! Feel that?
Well, if we get severe turbulence, especially with how heavy we are, the wing can be damaged. I'm gonna slow it down here.
Okay.
Randy cuts back on the throttle and reduces their speed, but the wind resistance will cost them fuel.
In case we run into any really bad bumps, we won't break our airplane.
They've traveled more than 6,000 kilometers since leaving Hawaii, and after a quick refuel in American Samoa, they're nearing their next pit stop in New Caledonia. So Corey tries to contact the small island's airport.
Damn it. Why is this thing not working?
But the signal goes dead.
There's no one out there. Freaking hey, man.
His last option is the satellite phone.
You're not gonna believe this. The runway's closed. Our runway at New Caledonia is closed? Are you messing with me? No, I'm not. She said that the runway's closed and it's not gonna be open until at least 0530. You're serious? Yeah, I'm dead serious. All right, I can't believe this.
It's starting to look like Corey and Randy are flying on borrowed time. On the other side of the Pacific Ocean, back in California, the tired old Cessna with a leaky fuel tank is going in for yet another checkup.
You can bring it over this way a little more.
The leak forced Bob and Yasmina to make an emergency landing, but it could just as easily have blown them out of the sky.
You see right where the nipple goes into it? See at the base? Right at
The plane's two main fuel tanks are made of thick rubber and mounted inside each wing.
Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. Yeah, no, the whole nipple is cracked off. You can really see it now. Here, it's supposed to be behind the strut, which would be a negative pressure area.
That probably means the bladder is deteriorated inside, too, as well.
The tank probably hadn't been kept full, so the tank is made out of rubber and it dries out.
An old mothballed airplane coming out of storage can become a lethal booby trap for even the best of pilots.
If it had happened over the Atlantic Ocean, it would have been ugly, because there's no place to land there.
Our first impression of her, let's put it that way, is not very good. She just needs to treat us a little better. At this point, we're kind of low, you know, on energy and on confidence.
Across the Pacific Ocean, above New Caledonia, pilots Randy McGeehee and Corey Benson are circling above a small airport.
There's our island right there, huh? Runway is closed.
They have no choice but to stay in the air and keep burning precious fuel.
Close the runway in the middle of the ocean where we have no other options for maintenance. It didn't tell us until now. I don't want to sit out here and hold for an hour and find out that they're not going to open it.
Randy and Corey have no idea why the landing strip is closed. If there's a problem with the runway, ground control is not saying.
Really puts a lot of stress on us. I mean, with this runway down, we have to divert. All of a sudden, fuel, where we're sitting nice and fat with it, all of a sudden it becomes a major issue.
So Randy radios in a request.
We'd like to descend for landing, 300 Alpha Lima.
So, what are your intentions?
We'd like to descend for landing, 300 Alpha Lima.
Now runway is open. Call me back on the right-hand downwind, 11.
Only moments after denying permission to land, the New Caledonia flight tower opens the runway. Crisis averted.
Thanks for putting me in the middle of nowhere, buddy.
An ocean away on the west coast of the United States.
That's what it should look like.
That's what it should look like.
Mike the mechanic is showing off a brand new fuel bladder to Bob and Yasmina.
That would be what I would call an accident waiting to happen. It's lucky that you had 150 gallons on board.
The new fuel tank can be installed in less than a day. But now the pilots are wondering if the old plane is hiding any more dangerous secrets.
You know, once we start going over the ocean, we can't have these issues. If we had that going on yesterday, we would have been on the water.
You know, from our perspective there, I'm starting to feel a little bit like on a train that's losing parts along the way. So the bottom line is if we don't like the direction the airplane goes here in the next day or so, then we say no, period.
Bob gets in touch with the boss.
Hey, we're down here at Santa Barbara, and
He's hoping he can convince Corey to pay for another complete inspection.
you know, this is hitting the third strike here, so we're not moving further till it's totally exonerated and checked.
Now, I'm glad you guys are okay, and I'm glad you guys got the plane on the ground safely, but we need to get it back in the air. The company needs it in Poland as soon as possible.
Personally, I'm not comfortable moving forward with this airplane until it's thoroughly checked by an independent source again.
We're hired to move the airplane. We're not hired to do additional inspections. This aircraft has already had 2 previous inspections and deem it safe, so I don't know why we're doing additional inspections and wasting more time when we've got the skydive company in Poland super frustrated wanting their plane right now.
Corey's time is Corey's money, and he knows that if a good mechanic looks hard enough, he can always find something to fix.
We're surrounded by this concept of go, go, go. Time is something I can control just by saying yes or no. And by saying no, it gives me the time to make sure that everything's right. And it's about being right.
But Corey's not all business. He's also a pilot. So he finally chooses to listen to his better instinct and agrees to the additional round of inspections.
Because this is our last good check, you know, and you guys have been all over it, so.
Yep, no problem.
And if it costs Corey,
good.
At least it keeps Bob happy.
I was a mechanic in the military, and they're gonna feel that pressure from me all the way until we go, because we are not departing unless I feel happy that the airplane's good to go and ready.
Over 10,000 kilometers away, Corey can now shift his attention back to his own delivery.
Yeah, it was a little stressful in many parts of the flight, but be ready for a cocktail tonight.
The corporate turboprop is now only 1,000 kilometers from its final destination, Sydney, Australia.
This is it, man. Going into Sydney here. I'm a little tired right now, but I can't wait to do it again. Holy crap, that's not good. That light means we have 10 minutes left of fuel. Holy jeez.
The warning light indicates that the transfer fuel pump is malfunctioning and their auxiliary fuel is not getting to the left engine.
I don't want to be freaking swimming in the ocean, dude.
They have 10 minutes of fuel left in that engine. When it runs dry, the engine will fail.
We're expecting the left side, that's going to be this switch. Fuel shut-off switch, we're going to close. Hydraulic shut-off switch, close.
With one engine down, the plane will lose altitude, and Randy will have to ditch in a controlled crash landing on the water.
Right now, at any time if it's going to go. It's been 10 minutes. Fuel pressure steady, fuel flow steady. All indications are normal right now. Feel that?
The low vibration reverberates through the plane. It sounds like they just lost the left engine.
Oh, maybe we still show we have fuel. That's tempting. That thing scared the crap out of me. Come on, baby.
The minutes pass. The engines continue to fire. The problem seems to be a faulty warning light.
Thank God. It's the longest 10 minutes of my life. Yeah. I think we're out of the danger zone, so let's just keep going ahead here, okay? Okay, awesome.
Back in the United States, a leaky fuel tank has been replaced. And now Bob and Yasmina think they might be able to coax the old plane into taking off and heading out for the long haul across the ocean.
So Mike and Kim, would you take this airplane to Poland now when it leaves the hangar?
Sure. The two pilots have been trying to put California in their rearview mirror for over a week now.
it's good to catch all these things before we go, because my confidence goes better now.
And I'll tell you, once we make it to Midland with no issues, then I'll feel even better.
Well, we still got 3,000 miles to go. It's a long way.
Another issue than this next leg, that's probably it for me.
But it looks like today might be the day. The mechanics have signed off on the plane, and the pilots are ready to take the aging Cessna across the continental U.S. with 2 pit stops, one in Texas and the other in Tennessee. By nightfall, they should be in Rhode Island.
I'm just to the point that it's like I value my life more than one trip, so we'll see what happens, but hopefully, we don't have any more issues with it.
On the other side of the Pacific Ocean.
We're over land, holy!
Corey and Randy have made it to the finish line of their 12,500-kilometer journey to Sydney, Australia.
Thank God.
The Merlin 3 corporate turboprop will be Corey's first international delivery.
Nicely done.
Woohoo! Corey knows he couldn't have done it without Randy.
People can say whatever they want about it. I mean, you and I did it. We brought this thing across an ocean. Fuel problems, airplane problems, weather problems, with just little teeny postage stamps of land in between. A plane that's not made to do that. And we did it, What a trip.
I feel great. I got goosebumps right now. It's a fun trip, great trip, good to be here. It's an adventure of a lifetime.
Minutes after touchdown, Corey gets ready to meet a happy customer. And for the first time since he took off, he's starting to feel confident that his new business is going to fly.
Very excited to see this airplane. I can't wait to see his face. He's going to be very happy with it.
This airplane, all in all, is a very nice aircraft.
Wow.
I think it exceeds all of his expectations.
Thanks so much. It's gonna sit on my desk. Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Hope it was worth the wait there,
I thought it was just gonna be, sit up there and set the autopilot and read a magazine, hang out, and that definitely was not the case. This trip is probably one of the most dangerous trips you can do.
Back up north, Bob and Yasmina have made it to Rhode Island.
We are here. It's nice to
Good job.
touch ground.
Very good, very good, very good. Here.
Yeah, it was good flight.
You did very nice.
And she did as well.
So how you feeling about the plane, man?
A lot better.
But their confidence will be short-lived.
I'll show you the filter over here. This is all, it's some steel, but most of it's aluminum. There's too much in here.
During post-flight maintenance, mechanics discovered the biggest problem yet.
Oh my God. I've never seen this much. So where could it be coming from?
Well, this steel could be from the cam followers, a part of the cam.
Bob asked the mechanic to perform an oil change, and he discovered metal filings in the engine.
Okay, because that's where the steel component is, right? So would you feel comfortable flying this across the North Atlantic right now?
Absolutely not.
So what do you recommend?
The engine needs to be taken apart, or another engine, period. If I was doing an annual on this would be unairworthy, period. Okay.
Wow.
It's unairworthy.
Next time on Dangerous Flights.
That's not how it works.
We cannot authorize work on someone else's airplane.
The tired old Cessna becomes too high maintenance, and her pilots threaten to walk.
It might be time to hand it off to somebody else.
And a new delivery job is heading straight into the path of a monster hurricane.
Oh my God, lightning strike.
this time on dangerous flights.
Stop.
You just don't know what you're in for.
The Mavericks of the flying world are taking a timeout from delivering planes across the planet.
How's it going, buddy?
For the first time ever, the crew's all together.
I am not doing this again.
It's a sickness.
Like an addiction.
To talk trash.
Fight for your marriage?
Oh, such a dick.
And trouble.
You're going down 1,000 feet a minute. Hey, yes, boss. All right.
Wow.
Wow.
So buckle up.
Woohoo.
For a ride like no other.
Let's roll.
I was speaking thunder for the ring keep falling.
Here we go.
It all sounds to rumble.
Are you kidding me right now?
You're crossing the border. Where the devil won't go. Where the devil won't go. Where the devil won't go. You're crossing the border.
This last year has just been a whirlwind. We did about 12 different flights all over the world, and it's just been a blast. There's been lots of crazy stuff that's happened to us.
Dude, if we make it, it's gonna be a miracle.
Freaking thunderstorm. Are you kidding me right now? Holy.
I can't see anything. Nothing.
Stop.
Well, we're not Kansas anymore, man. There is nothing around here.
Can I start breathing now?
We're just gearing up to do another set of flights here, so I thought it'd be a really, really good idea to get all of the pilots in, come to Utah, and kind of relax, get to know each other more on a personal level before being stuck in a cockpit for 20 hours crossing over oceans and jungles.
I have not been to Ogden before. I bet there was some gunslinging here back in the day.
It's been a challenge to get everybody here. We had 2 of the pilots come in from California.
Sunny San Diego to snowy Utah.
Next time, I'm organizing this. We're going to go to Cancun.
We had Brad fly all the way from Colombia.
When all these pilots get together, there's probably going to be a lot of BSing and a lot of ego flying around. I've never met any of them, you know.
Thanks for the ride. Appreciate it. Thank you. See you later.
Except for Corey and Pete.
White.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Way too long, brother.
What's the word?
I've seen you a year.
That is true. It has been a year.
Gosh, Carrie came in from the Midwest, so everybody's traveled quite a long distance to get here.
What's up? How you doing, man?
buddy?
Welcome to snowy Utah.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's cold as hell.
Well, this is gonna be awesome, Corey. I really appreciate you doing this. I mean,
It's so hard to find a time when we don't have a plane in the air.
well, yeah, trying to get 6 or 7 pilots together all in the same spot at one time is damn near impossible. Oh, nice.
All right, cool.
This is sweet hangar.
Boys?
How's the big Corey?
What's going on?
Corey,
big
what up?
Corey?
What up?
I thought it'd be a great idea for all of us to get together and kind of just talk about last year, some of the different flights that we did, and have some fun.
Cool.
Cool.
Stu, what do you think when you first see a plane?
Sometimes I see these things, I was like, this thing's gonna kill me. It's like, what is...
That's a good feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
I hate walking up to a new plane because you just don't know what you're in for, especially these things have been sitting for who knows how long. They always say, oh yeah, it's in great shape.
The Cheyenne.
Yeah.
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne was, we knew what we were in for. We were like, this thing is horrible before we flew it. It was bad.
Well, let's check it out.
18 legs, 18 problems.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready. 41 way 5. Raise caution for birds on us in the airport.
windscreen and it sucks. I can't see anything. Nothing. No heater. See the heater? Nothing. There's no heater.
We got things freezing up. We got nuts and bolts freezing up. We got a windshield that won't defrost. It's just one thing after another.
That's hilarious. I forgot that that button was missing. It was like, let me turn the heat on. Oh.
It doesn't exist on this side. It was so cold in there.
But it sounds stupid to someone sitting at home going, the heater doesn't work. But they don't realize when you're at 20,000 feet that it's like, you know, what?
Minus 32.
Minus 20, minus 30 degrees out. And after an hour, 2, 3 hours of that, it gets cold.
Oh, there's nothing worse than a plane the heater doesn't work.
I mean, did you see the screws on the inside had ice on them? Like, how's that happen?
At least you weren't in Russia.
That is true.
That is true.
That is true.
That is true.
That was the coldest I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
Holy, it's negative 50 now.
Just too cold. I mean, it's just too tough, man. My feet are numb and hurt.
I'm gonna put another map down here. Maps actually work pretty good.
Can we have me another one?
Here, one of our favorite places, a nice warm Australia.
Holy.
Dude, if we make it, it's gonna be a miracle.
Wow, that's miserable.
My shoes actually, they froze. So I took them off and put them in my feet in socks and then into my headset bags. And it was the...
Being that cold affects your performance.
Oh, heck yeah.
Big time.
Oh, huge.
See the airport? No. I mean, the main difficulty on this approach right now is us, Corey. We're cold, we're distracted.
November Echo Bravo, clear to wind, runway 25 left.
Okay, clear land on 25 right for 800 Echo Bravo. We're going to the right?
Clear to land, runway 25 left.
Frozen a plane, you just feel like you've lost 20% of your intelligence right there.
Yeah.
And I don't have that much
And
to
yeah,
begin
you don't have
with.
much to spare.
On these type of flights, I think it is very, very important that the pilots work together good to make a safe flight and to get the airplane there safely.
So they don't kill each other.
And so they don't kill each other.
I mean, I couldn't imagine getting in a fight with some guy at the beginning of a trip and have it brew and fester for the whole trip. That would be awful.
But I guess it's not always harmonious all the time.
Oh man, are we getting pushed? Holy. Almost powered almost all the way down. 54 and on tailwind. Oh, look at that. Feel that? Are you kidding me right now? Holy. I, in a minute, went from nothing to, oh my God, hundreds of lightning strikes. I've never seen that before. About 100 strikes. No, we're good. Easy. You're going down 1,000 feet a minute. Level the wings. Level up. Hey, just pull us up. All right. We're 1,000 feet over the water. You're going down 1,000 feet a minute. We're good. Sorry, man. You were not recovering. It's all right. The airplane has it, all right? Don't let the airplane do the work for you. The airplane did not have it. We were going down 1,000 feet a minute. I got it down. I'm just trying to get the thing over, all right? Don't have to turn that fast. Settle down. Hey, chop your power. Dude, that's just shh. Please. I'm Scissor.
1 yes, you may vacate.
You know, when you grabbed the stick, which is the scariest feeling for me to have someone do.
But you weren't correcting it fast enough for me. I wasn't going to let it go.
But that's the thing. I wasn't doing it fast enough for you, but I was on it.
I didn't think so.
Wow.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
you look like that scene right now. Awkward.
Awkward, yeah, well.
Yeah.
Who was the pilot in command?
I was.
But you know, we were descending 1,000 feet per minute. We weren't supposed to be. And it was continuing, and it wasn't bad yet. But I wasn't going to let it get worse.
There's a million things. You know, you have a glass cockpit with a million pieces of information. You're trying to digest it all. And then when he grabbed the controls, then it was like, now I don't know what's going on. I'm lost total control of the airplane. You know, it's kind of like one of those things you hope you live through it. And then after that, you hope it never happens again.
See, that's a dangerous situation, too, when you guys get upset with each other, because usually right after that happens, after you guys start arguing, silence.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, is he doing the checklist? What's he thinking? What's he doing? Is he watching my back, or is he staring out the window?
Team, and that can be tough.
It's tough.
Matter of fact, next time I know how I'm going to handle it. I sit there. When I see him go for it, I'm going like this.
I'm going to fly it all the way in.
Love you, man.
Holy crap. That's not good. That light means we have 10 minutes left of fuel. Holy.
It's never a good thing.
We are fuel critical. It is imperative we get a straighter line than this. Come on, baby. Give it to us.
Fuel pump's on. Just a little bit more.
So I think we're high enough to glide in there now. If we lose an engine.
Fuel management is one of the things that I think nobody really can understand what we go through, because we can look, we can plan, and when we get in the air, things change. The airplane doesn't perform like it should, or the forecast changes. I know that you've had a couple instances where fuel management was critical.
Yeah, that flight from Georgetown to Macapa, we ran into a pretty big wall of headwind there. That slowed us to just nothing.
And it was the whole flight.
Yeah.
We hit it right off the bat. We had a lot of stress because we knew way in advance, based on our fuel burn, that we were going to be limited near the end.
Let's watch.
There we go. These headwinds get any worse, we're screwed. That is slow. We got to be pushing a 35-mile headwind. That's not good. Keep an eye on that fuel pressure. At least one of the engines should still be running by the time we get there, but they're running pretty low, so I really hope we make it. Oh, there we go. Oop, there's... Boost pump on. Boost pump's on.
We have fuel pressure.
Macapa Control, November 27608.
Like priority landing, fuel critical. 23 miles from Macapa.
Right aux tank's dead. Now we're on the right main tank, and that one doesn't have much gas in it either, so...
Come on, come on, come on. It was either the jungle or the ocean.
And there's nowhere else to go. I mean, you can try to head east, go to the coast, but the airports there are all so far away, you might as well just keep going to Macapa. Yeah. Don't waste gas.
It's funny how sometimes I've been criticized about, wow, you're dangerous flights. It's not dangerous, it's just, come with me. Okay? Even when everything is going perfectly right, and you look at your map and there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. So if something happens right now, where would you go? And the answer is, you don't have an answer.
Flying some of these small airplanes across the ocean or sometimes over the jungle where the normal aircraft doesn't have big enough fuel tanks to make it, we have to put these auxiliary tanks in here. That's one of the things that make me the most nervous, is you're tinkering with a perfectly good fuel system and you're putting a homemade, basically aluminum box in the back of the airplane with just tubing and then piping it into the tanks. I mean,
survival mode.
I hate ferry tanks.
That's either do or die on that one. Yeah.
Last year, Randy and I were over the North Atlantic in the 206, 50-knot headwinds, or between Goose Bay and Greenland, and we didn't think the ferry tank was pumping fuel into the right wing. Mm-hmm. And that was a scary thought, because there was no gauge on that deal. What's this?
I want you to look in that tank and tell me what you see. Or maybe I should do it, because I know I've been looking back there. I'll have a better gauge of how much fuel's in there.
Okay. Got the airplane.
This is really difficult with these suits on, man.
They're a pain in the ass.
Oh, what was that?
Okay.
I'm taking off the cap. All of a sudden, that thing just flies up. It was like an explosion, man. I took a huge whiff of fumes, man, and I don't feel too good. Those fumes were nasty. All the electronics we got in here, fuel will burn, the vapors explode, and geez, we gotta be careful, man. We gotta keep this thing well ventilated.
Gotta love ferry tanks.
Oh my God, that was, the whole cockpit's just full of fumes. I mean, we had the HF radio, the portable one that was installed in there, plus all the other electronics. It was,
yeah, it was pretty
You know,
sketchy.
this happens in North America, you know, you declare an emergency and maybe 20 minutes, you are safe on the ground and you say, well, let's go to check that out. Right there, you don't have that option. And that's what this thing gets really, really, really complicated.
but you had problems in a brand new Phenom, right?
We're taking off, and we were crossing probably about, what, 6,000, 7,000 feet?
I think we were up to almost 10.
Almost 10, and then pressure is just killing me, killing us.
And it was fast. That pressure went like...
Cabin. 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 Cabin.
We lost pressurization. Okay. Stop the climb. Stop the climb right here.
Autopilot.
Level off.
Autopilot.
Okay, tell them we need to maintain altitude right now. Slow down.
Cabin. 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 Cabin.
And you can see me going like this because, you know, the pressure is just minus 10,000, and I say, what's going on? And I'm starting to read the checklist, and it's the worst thing that can happen to a pilot when you do not know what's going on.
And instead of being a good co-pilot and just paying attention to what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm watching him bump up and down the pressurization as the speed goes.
Autopilot.
All right, fly the plane for me, please. Maintain altitude. I'm going to fix this shit.
The plane. We have a pressurization problem right now. We need to hold altitude for a minute. We'll advise.
Foxtrot, what's the problem? We have a pressurization problem. I'll get back to you in just a minute.
Number 777, Bravo Foxtrot. Slow down. Slow down.
What for level do you need? Which oxygen mask on? On.
1,200 meters, fly at Dolma 3D Apache. Radar contact. 777, Bravo.
Autopilot on? Autopilot on.
Autopilot. Stall. 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 Autopilot.
What the hell was that? Oh, you forgot to look at its speed.
Oops. Well, the thing is so smooth, you know, and it's on autopilot. You didn't feel a damn thing until stall, stall. Oh, God. Yeah, I look at that, I feel like.
Don't slow down that much.
Yeah.
You know what that is, right?
Yep, there it is. Check it out, dude.
Now, when you're crossing the North Atlantic, there's airports that we use, like Narsarsuaq in Greenland. Top 10 most dangerous airports in the world.
We certainly don't want to end up like this guy. Hey, bro, I hope this never happens to us.
Can't let it.
But you guys have had challenges on the Cirrus flight.
Oh, yeah.
When you were going in to Narsarsuaq. And they closed the airport?
It was, again, one of a situation where it was a nice day. We might as well go full throttle and get there quick. We don't need the extra gas. Why would we need extra gas? It's a beautiful day. Boom, airport's closed. Now what are you gonna do?
158 Papa Golf, go ahead. They get a message for you. They are saying that temperature is below minimum and fly back.
Throttle back right now. Pup Golf, roger. And that's why you save all the gas you can. This is a killer. This is exactly what we did not need today. We're way past the point of nowhere. Yeah, we're physically over Greenland right now, so there's no turning back. Exactly the sort of thing I hate. In Greenland, the weather changes really quick. Big old front moves in or something and shuts the airport down. What's our alternate, nuke? Maybe, if we can reach anything. It's a problem, the alternates are just not close enough.
What happened there?
Our plan was to lean it back, throttle back, ease in some sort of safe direction, which we did. We started kind of heading to I think it was Nook, right?
Started going
and
Nook.
was just leaned it way back. I mean, super slow.
Hello, this is Stu, the pilots from November 158 Papa Golf. Can you hear me?
We kept contacting, we kept recontacting. We just kept bugging them every 5 minutes.
Hello? Sorry, I'm on the satellite phone. Can you hear me?
Nope, we're still closed. And then finally, 20 minutes or something out, they go, okay, we're back above, and we just pinned it straight to it. So
yeah, that was a tough choice,
out.
though. It's like, all right, Nook is open, and we got barely enough gas to get there. But if we turn and go back to Narsarsuaq, then we're committed, because then we'll have burned that gas, and if it recloses, we're screwed.
It's a committed choice. I mean, you're boxing yourself in.
Well, that is one of the most dangerous airports to land.
Brad and I were just talking about it. We were talking about how the ice cap and what it does and how it sheds winds, plus the high pressure system that goes down, parks off the southern end of Greenland and all that. And it was just on cue. This place is nuts. Look how many fjords you have, and you miss one, you pick the wrong one, you're dead.
Yeah, this is crazy.
On this arrival, we've got 20-knot winds. In that fjord, it can get really aggressive with the turbulence and wind shear.
Woohoo! Ooh, slowing down.
Go ahead and pitch this beauty up.
Yep, I got it.
Thank you, sir.
Man, right on cue.
That was unbelievable.
November 78, Quebec Romeo, turning final runway 07.
Got a long runway, it's windy, and it's going to have wind shear.
Yep.
There's some big flippin' icebergs out there. Holy smokes. Like, it was bad. And it was just boom, all the way down to like 1,000 feet.
Yeah.
I don't like Narsarsuaq.
One of the most interesting things that I learned over last year was just that you don't know what to expect when you get to these other countries. Every custom's different, the agents are different. It's crazy.
What the hell? We got no power for the plane. Well, if we can't get this started in a couple of minutes, then it means we're staying here for a while. What in the hell?
You want me to go see if the fuel truck has a jumper?
Oh, that morning, the runway was closing for maintenance, and so we had to be in the air before 8, and we go to fire it up, and our battery's completely dead.
Here he is. We need to get jumped and get out of here. Can you jump us?
He had no idea.
This is the best you going, jump us?
He has no idea what I'm trying to say. Battery dead. We need to plug in.
Ooh. Yeah. You got that? Yeah.
We gotta hurry though. They're closing the runway.
Time we got.
We really do only have a few minutes.
He went and took a battery out of another airplane, ran it over, we jumped it, got ours started, and we were off.
We took off. My GPS said 8:01.
Yeah.
In a foreign country, a good rule is that if they don't speak the language, just speak louder to them, and that always works. If you just start yelling jump start, they're like, oh yeah.
See, I've become, in ferry flying, I've become an expert at international charades. You know, it's like, I need fuel, a jump.
That's why I speak 35 languages. Speak Latin? I'm cheap. I don't like to spend money because every dollar that I save comes into my pocket. So I avoid paying for handlers as much as I can.
Roger that.
And then, but if you come in, you know, sometimes I bring a little T-shirt that people will recognize. It goes a long way, you know?
Let's see your charm.
Show them dimples.
Lady killer. Lady killer.
Indonesia really loves football, and they're big fans of Brazil for the soccer. We do not have any handlers, any support, anybody there. So maybe I can make some friends.
It's Ronaldo. Indonesia.
How are you? I'm Captain Lucchesi, okay? We're going to file the flight plans.
Your friend Ronaldo?
Yeah, my friend Ronaldo. How's my friend? He gave me shirt.
You know, I love the shirt. That actually did work with some of the guys, but not with that immigration dude.
So on the immigration side, what do we have to do now then to clear?
My role, your problem like this, to investigation for you.
Investigation? We called the airport authority. Do I need to hire a handler? They said no.
Yeah, like this.
We're waiting for the big boss, and he's going to be the one that decides what the appropriate punishment is for us. I mean, it could seriously be jail.
You know, even today, I don't know what was going on.
I think they were just looking for some extra cash.
620. Thank you so much, okay? We'll see you next time. There are two friends that always get me out of trouble. One is Ronaldo, the other one is Ben Franklin.
The Benjis.
Right now, we're not sure the plane's ready.
We need to get going, though. I mean, we have to get it there tonight.
We don't have to do anything.
If this landing gear is a problem, I'm gonna be pissed. Hey man, just drop it. Dude.
It's time to fly. Get that plane fixed. Let's get in the air.
The ongoing challenge we have is walking the line of when to go and when not to go. I mean, we have the schedule, the pressure of the client. They want their airplane, and then it's the pressure of the expense that we have too. Every day we delay. So it's difficult. I know you guys had some big challenges in Wick getting ready to go in the Cirrus, right?
Yeah.
We're ready. Okay. And this afternoon, from about 3 o'clock onwards, it's all lifting till basically a clear sky.
Excellent. For the North Atlantic in the winter, it's a beautiful day.
Well, if they all went with a forecast like that, they're all going to live. But they don't.
We get moving pretty quickly in an hour.
5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Don't take on a ferry flight if you've got a deadline to meet, because that's the real killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think I'd be doing this again, but here we go.
On every one of these flights, the owners are always calling, emailing, wanting to know what's going on, pushing us to get it there as soon as possible. And it's difficult, and I know sometimes that I put that pressure on you guys, but it's a fine line we walk.
Well, I think we've all pushed it, and we've all taken chances, and a lot of us have been bit and gotten away with it. But you do this job long enough, you're going to run into some really bad luck on one of these legs. And if you haven't left yourself an out or a back door.
The average is 3 deaths a year across the North Atlantic. Yeah. That's the average, right?
Yep.
Some years better, some years worse.
A lot of also has to do with our own egos. Okay, a lot of us, we have that mission accomplished kind of deal. I did this in the shortest time.
That's a fatal attitude. You keep doing it.
You go ahead.
Let me know how that goes.
It's definitely been a learning curve for myself, that's for sure. Having the opportunity to fly with you guys too, and being out there with you and seeing all the that we have to go through to make it happen, this is not your normal flying. My friends think it's so glamorous, these different places we go. They don't realize some of the holes we have to stay in. And then, God, you get so tired on these trips too. It's tough.
You get to the hotel, you're exhausted, and you don't get 8 hours of sleep because you got to get up and flight plan. You got to look at weather. You got to get out to the airplane. You got to pre-flight, and it's just like you got to fuel, pay fees, everything. And it's just like you're always running on 5 hours of sleep a day.
Well, let's see some tiring times.
There we go. Wow.
I'm a little tired right now. We've had 3 long days, and we're constantly being challenged in one way or another. We're not eating much. I'm sure we're dehydrated because we're not drinking much. Jumping time zones, being at altitude. If you're tired, you're physically drained, you can make a stupid decision, and you're dead because of it. There's no wires, there's no roads, there's no tracks of any kind. It's just a bunch of jungle down there.
It's like Beavis and Butthead flying the most dangerous missions in the world. All we can talk about is
6 or 8 year old humor type stuff. Yeah, tomorrow might be a good day for a rest day, man, because we're totally losing it here. What tank are we on now? I don't left, I think.
Left. It's a question.
One of them. So that flight, we had 3 long days of flying up into it, and we're just beat. We had some serious problems with the airplane getting it ready for the flight, and we're just punch drunk, happy, like just laughing at the stupidest.
It does wear on you, especially if you're going eastbound and you're losing hours every time. I mean, if it's a long one, you know, after 4 or 5 days of 5 hours of sleep.
Tune in the wrong frequency and it pops up, you know, Bangladesh, and you're going to Reykjavik, you know, and you don't have the right frequency and you didn't check it, and your brain is messing with you because you're like, oh, did you check it? I didn't check it. Did you check it? I checked it. I think I checked it. You know, no one wakes up in the morning that crashes and go, yeah, I'm probably going to crash today. Let's go give it a shot. You know, nobody thinks they're going to crash.
That's why I took more than 10 years off. You know, when I got married and had my second child, it's like, you know, I might want to not ferry fly for a while because of, number one, don't want to die and leave these kids with just pictures in a photo album of Dad who went down in the North Atlantic. And 2, I want to be there for when they're growing up, you know.
Last year I missed Christmas, I missed New Year's Eve, I missed my wife's birthday, I missed my anniversary, and it's very, very probable that this year I might not see my second child birth because of what we do.
Count our divorce rate in here?
80% divorce rate, lots of drinking, lots of smoking. That terrain there in a single engine airplane, if you have an engine failure, the best thing to do is just pitch over and get it over with.
Not me. I fight for everything.
Do ya?
Oh, here we go.
Fight for your marriage?
You're such a dick.
This last year, it was interesting. I mean, the first time a lot of you guys met were when you guys were hopping in the airplane, flying halfway around the world.
You have to keep a good relationship with the guy you're sitting like this with for 2 weeks, you know. If you can't keep it light in the cockpit, you're gonna have a really horrible trip.
Marcio, I'd like you to meet somebody. Hula girl. I got her when I first started ferry flying and with me ever since.
Hula girl's right here.
Yeah.
She's not alone.
My friend Jack. What a 6-piston.
Thought I was the only crazy one.
No, man, there are weird people everywhere, man.
If we got a ditch in the ocean, I would like to ditch in front of a cruise ship because we'd be in the hot tub with a margarita within the hour.
Or do I shut off the gas? It is so huge to have an element of entertainment and comedy no matter how stressful the situation is.
It relaxes the brain. It helps the brain recover from the stress.
This is why I became a pilot, to go flying to places like this. This is so cool. Oh, check this out.
Are you kidding me right now?
No, I'm good, I'm good.
What the? Yeah!
It was so disgusting.
No, bucks.
Yes. I'll pass.
What do we?
Try.
Chinese girl like this, huh?
Oh,
la! Very good.
It's like eating an artichoke. Where's the mayonnaise?
Thank you very much.
Somehow Carrie jumped on the grenade and did it. I was like, hey,
You know,
you're a
I
better
don't know
man
why. I was going to give you $100 to do it because I really had no intention of doing it.
You did it for free.
And then I ended up doing it for free.
Hey, but the funny thing is you ate it
And you got sick.
you got sick.
Whoa, look at that.
Good times, good times.
What did you eat last night that's killing you? Oh no, we tried some local Pakistan cuisine. That was really good, but it was definitely off the grid for me. Kind of paid for it all night and was hoping to get it kind of out of my system before we started flying, but Iran's airspace is about 5 miles that way. Those guys aren't too friendly. Oh, tell you what though. The way I feel right now, that was the closest bathroom. I'll take it. You're gonna have buns of steel by the end here. You got clench going. Hang in there, my brother. Hang in there. Yeah. 4.5 hours of the most torturous flying I've ever had to do. Yeah, I suppose if it was a real rocket day, it could be a little more uncomfortable.
I needed to be in a hospital. I was having the most severe stomach sickness that I've ever had in my whole life.
When we landed, he can barely move to get out of the plane. I ran in there. Let me find a bathroom for you so you're at least going in the right direction.
A little recon.
Found one, got out there.
It was absolutely the most single worst day flying of my life. And I'll never, hopefully, ever have one like that. I'm hurt. Pakistan's revenge.
You know, we love what we do, but one of the toughest parts is how much we're gone. And you know, I feel like I'm missing watching my kids grow up sometimes, and it's tough. You're away a lot.
Daddy.
What, sweetie?
You don't see your family that much.
I hadn't seen my mom for about a year, and Pete and I happened to be delivering a plane to somewhere about 300 miles from where my mom lived, called her up, and we're ferrying this plane from England, and it turns out we're landing in Quincy, Illinois. You know, she was like, I'll do the best I can, and she's just kind of a trooper that way, and sure enough, we were taxiing in, and oh man, she's actually standing out there. There she is, taking photos. Hey, we made it. We finally made it.
Okay.
How's it going?
Is it a good race?
It felt awesome to see my mom. I mean, I haven't seen her forever.
I'll tell you, it's worth the 300-mile drive.
Yeah, how
for
about it?
as infrequently as we get together.
So it was a nice surprise for sure.
It's nice to have those wins on these trips.
And sometimes, like this last flight, that was a tremendous, horrible flight coming back home. Singapore to Tokyo to LA, driving to San Diego.
Ugh.
I said, I am not doing this again. I am done with this. But there's a little bug that comes in, and you start bringing your memories back.
It's a sickness.
It is. It's
Off you go, you know, and it's just like an addiction.
How do you stop
It is almost like an addiction.
Doesn't take much time to reset, you know?
Yeah.
You get home, do your laundry, all right? Let's do it, I'm ready to go.
Then the phone rings,
the phone rings.
and you say, no, I'm not doing this again. Well, but it's a Phenom 300 going to Australia, dude, and then you go, and you look at the map, I said, oh, man, this is gonna be cool, you know? Okay, I do it.
Oh, okay, I can do it one more time.
This is awesome. Who gets to do this? Who gets to buzz the Amazon first thing in the morning?
We know this is the most dangerous type of flying, and it's very stressful. The pay's not great, but we do have some amazing experiences, though.
There's an iceberg coming up and a hole right through the middle of it.
Minimums, minimums.
Too low terrain.
Look at this. Holy cow. That's huge.
That's cool. That is very cool.
That's badass.
The whole thing just looks like it's out of the Lost World or something. Look at that. Wow. Unbelievable. Pretty impressive. You know, this is why I ferry fly.
Dude, if we got this day off, let's take my jet up and see what it can do.
Awesome.
Here we go. Oh!
Very nice. Very nice on the vertical up to 7,000.
This is very cool.
Pretty sweet, huh?
Yeah, it is. I love the view, too.
Okay, you got the aircraft?
I've got it.
They're roll inverted. I'm gonna float it down to the horizon. That's about good. Now roll back.
Dude, how cool is that?
Isn't that bitchin'?
That's bitchin'.
You lucky bastard.
That was pretty cool.
Well, guys, we've had a hell of a year, but we've got a lot of fun stuff coming up. There's a bunch of flights on the horizon, all over the world, different airplanes. It's going to be awesome. We're adding a new pilot to the team. Carrie, why don't you introduce your new co-pilot?
Gentlemen, it's my daughter Claire, my new co-pilot.
Hi, Claire.
Hey.
AKA Supergirl.
Hey, I'm Brad. Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Hi, Claire, Peter. Nice to meet you.
Hi, great to meet you guys.
Very
Have
cool.
a seat. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Apparently she is as crazy as her old man. She's decided to go flying around the world, little airplanes, so there we go.
Yeah, we have a flight already set up for them, so they're going to be flying a single-engine plane. And we've got a bunch of other flights set up, too. We have, I know that Marcio's got a Jet Aviva Phenom flight coming up, and then there's a bunch of other cool flights. This is going to be much different than what we did last year, more difficult, and it's going to be fun. So
cool.
Let's have a cheers next year.
Here you go, Claire.
Let's stay out of the ocean, stay out of the jungle.
All right.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks for everything.
Cheers. Very successful year, gentlemen.
Welcome, Claire.
Let's do it.
Welcome. Welcome.
Next on Dangerous Flights.
I don't know what's going on.
Out of oxygen at 22,000 feet.
This is bad.
Icy wings.
Ice will kill you.
Systems down.
The altitude selector has failed. The de-ice boots are failed. The prop ice is failed.
I think I lost the bet. You gotta pee, don't you?
A sky-high plumbing problem.
Whoopsie, little turbulence.
Oh, God, this is gross.
And 2 new rookies join the team.
This new co-pilot that I have,
Captain speaking from the left-hand side.
I'm not even sure if he's out of his diapers yet.
Dad.
Well, when I tell you to do
So I'm
something the
gonna
first
try.
time, don't argue with me. Just say, okay.
That's what
I'll try.
I'm not going to get any better with you yelling in my ears.
It's aviation's final frontier. Cowboy pilots who deliver small, used aircraft
You see how it's leaking through the fuselage?
across distances they were never meant to fly.
If it had happened over the Atlantic Ocean, it would have been ugly.
That's not good.
There's a right way to fly an airplane and there's a wrong way.
And as long as there's money and fuel to burn,
We don't care if you spill a little bit.
they will fly anything,
To this day, when I see some of these airplanes, it's like, wow.
anywhere,
I took that plane where it was never meant to go.
anytime.
Holy crap, we made it.
At a small airport in Rhode Island, pilots Bob Rasky and Yasmina Platt have run into big trouble.
An oil change is a normal thing. We were low on oil anyway.
They were hired to jockey a 36-year-old single-engine Cessna from California to Poland. A flight over 10,000 kilometers long that will take them across the frigid waters of the North Atlantic. But the job is starting to look like a suicide mission. First, it was the left flap.
Whoa. Look at that thing. Oh, it's not working?
Nope.
Uh-oh.
Then, a fuel leak.
Oh my God.
Okay, so it is leaking pretty good back there. Okay?
Yeah, I'm just concerned about electrical fire.
We're gonna need to divert the nearest airport right now.
Now, metal filings in the oil filter indicate the engine is falling apart.
Oh my God.
Would you feel comfortable flying this across the North Atlantic?
Absolutely not.
So what do you recommend?
It's unairworthy.
For Bob, this is the third and last strike. He refuses to fly this plane again without a thorough maintenance job.
It's actually recommended by anybody ferrying across the North Atlantic to do that at least 2 to 3 times before you go, including doing soap analysis. That's recommendations.
His boss, Corey Benson, disagrees.
That's not how it works. We cannot authorize work on someone else's airplane. Let's say they find something. Are you gonna pay to fix it? Because the owner could just as easily say, well, you guys authorized the inspection. I'm not paying for it, you pay for it. And I know sure as hell I'm not gonna pay for it.
Corey's in the business of delivering planes, not fixing them. But with his hired guns ready to bail, he's got no choice but to talk to the mechanic.
Yeah, hold on a second. Here you go.
The verdict: the engine needs an overhaul. This plane delivery has already been delayed by a week. And in Poland, the client is running out of patience.
We are paying for the Cessna, and we have to pay also the rental aircraft. So we're paying double. That's why we desperately needed that plane.
She'll keep losing money until Corey delivers the plane. But now, his pilots have second thoughts about finishing the job.
It's easy enough to acquiesce to the fact that we got it here, we got to a certain point, it might be time to hand it off to somebody else. Heading home.
Corey's pilots are throwing in the towel.
Bob and I have done everything we can, and we've brought it as far as it would let us. It needs another doctor to look at her.
They're calling it quits. And Corey's finding out that running a plane delivery business can be more stressful than flying.
I don't know what's gonna happen. First thing is it's more delays, period. I mean, it could be as simple as just a new cylinder they need to put on it, but if it needs a new engine, it's at least 2-3 weeks.
Worse, the grounded Cessna is just half of Corey's nightmare. Now he's got another job to get off the ground, and another client who wants the plane delivered yesterday.
When the plane's ready, the client expects you to be ready and to leave right then. I cannot tell them that they have to wait another week or 2 weeks because I'm doing another flight. They want their plane now. And so we have to have other pilots ready to go that are trained in the airplane that can ferry it if I'm busy.
Corey thinks he's got the right guy to take on this new job. Kerry McCauley owns a skydiving school in Wisconsin. Over a decade ago, Kerry made his living delivering planes across the globe. And he signed on with Corey to find out if he's still got the nerve to do his old job once again.
I've crossed the ocean many times, flown over Africa, Europe, Middle East. If I screw this one up, all the people that know me and have heard all my glorious stories over the years are going to be snickering behind my back or to my face.
That was a blast. I needed that.
Carey might be a little rusty, but he's no rookie.
Some pilots, they call the office and call the boss every 10 minutes. They want every decision made for them. They want help. They want their hand held all the way across.
Here she is.
If I don't bother Corey, if I just get the job done with the minimum amount of interference and with the minimum amount of money, he'll be impressed.
Good morning, guys. George Johnson.
Hey, George. Carey McCauley.
Carey.
Stu Sprung.
Stu, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Stu Sprung will be Carey's co-pilot. And this morning, he's meeting the plane for the first time.
For what the doctor intends it.
For me, it'll be definitely uncharted waters. Flying over the Amazon, I'm not quite sure how that's going to make me feel.
It's a very low-time airplane. It's got about 2,000 hours total time.
What year is it?
It's 1989.
This is a Beechcraft Bonanza. Based on World War II fighter plane technology, the Bonanza has been in production for over half a century. It's a close cousin of the first Bonanza, which killed musicians Buddy Holly and Ritchie Valens in 1959.
You know, it's hard to see problems in some of these planes when they've washed them and waxed them and detailed them like that.
Flying a plane for someone else is a lot like a high-altitude blind date. The pilots never really know what they're getting into.
People have told us this is a great plane, it's in great condition, fresh out of its annual inspection, but I need to see for myself.
And sometimes, even the best airplanes have a dirty little secret.
You hear that? It sounds like something's rubbing. Yeah, it's loudest right here.
Last thing is we need is for one of those rods to wear all the way through, and we're halfway over Brazil.
They'll need to get this fixed before they can take off. They've got a long flight ahead. Almost 8,000 kilometers from Greensboro, North Carolina to Porto Alegre in Brazil.
So you're saying from St. Bart's to Grenada to Georgetown, and you want to make Macapa in the same day?
That's gonna be tough.
That would have to be a perfect day. That's about 1,400 miles.
And according to the latest forecasts, the only thing perfect about the upcoming weather is a perfect storm. A monster hurricane lurking on the outskirts of Carey and Stu's flight path.
We don't need to have the whole conversation about being pessimistic. We're optimistic. We're gonna make it.
I'm gonna do a parallel plan. I'm gonna call it the realistic plan.
Stu knows that flight plans almost always change. But what's really bugging him is a problem that he can't fix.
It just irritates me to even have to even think about it.
I mean, ain't that the way it goes? You know, the one big key commitment you have.
Stu is a retired firefighter. Every year since the 9/11 terror attacks, he's joined his fellow firefighters for a memorial. And he took this job on one condition, that he could be in New York City for the 10th anniversary.
That was a very devastating time. I worked there with the New York City firefighters. Some of my best friends were New York City firefighters that passed away that day. We made a pledge never to forget. And so if I'm not there because I'm flying an aircraft to Brazil, it'll tear away at me. I just don't even want to have to deal with that.
We're a team. Take care of each other. And your well-being is my well-being.
That's true.
So let's talk about both our well-beings in this freaking hurricane that's bearing down on us.
A hurricane of this size could shatter a small plane in a few seconds. So the only way to survive it is to find a way around it.
We better boogie.
Nice.
Yeah.
If Stu has any chance to make it back to New York in time, they have to get to the first stop before the hurricane.
Game plan is just trying to get ahead of it. The irony is if to beat the hurricane, we have to fly right at it.
Gear up. And we're off.
In Rhode Island, the delivery of a 36-year-old Cessna 206 is in jeopardy. And Corey Benson is here because his pilots walked out. Now the boss has no choice but to finish the job himself.
I had to drop everything to get out here and finish the flight. So it's frustrating, but my company's reputation is riding on this flight. I got to get the aircraft there. Hey, Joe. Corey Benson.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Randy McGee. Welcome to Rhode Island. Nice.
Corey's convinced his friend and expert pilot, Randy McGeehee, to lend him a hand. this isn't the first time Randy has been a lifesaver. He piloted Corey's first delivery, a dangerous flight from California to Australia.
Whoa, slow it down here, okay, in case we run into any bad bumps, we won't break our airplane.
Things got a little bumpy over the Pacific.
That light means we have 10 minutes left of fuel. I don't want to be freaking swimming in the ocean, dude.
They both lived to tell the tale.
Holy crap, we made it.
And now, Randy's back for more.
How's she look?
She looks pretty good now. I mean, we've changed the engine in it. As far as used engines go, it's about the best you're gonna get. I did everything I could, test flying it, running it on the ground. It's all yours now.
All right, thanks a lot.
Hey, thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
The refurbished engine might give the plane a second life, or turn this trip into the last fatal flight.
The plane definitely had some major issues, and that's a big red warning light walking into this situation. But I can't let that cloud my evaluation of the airplane right now as the airplane sits there.
When Corey and Randy leave Rhode Island, they'll begin a deadly game of hopscotch to get to Poland, landing on remote airstrips when their fuel runs low over the cold North Atlantic, where even a small storm can turn the little airplane into a cocktail shaker. That's why both pilots signed up for a 2-day survival course before the flight.
All right, once you sit down, grab your seatbelt.
Yeah, it's a little bit of excitement with some nervousness mixed in there. Yeah, for sure.
You're gonna hear me say ditching, ditching, ditching.
Ditching is the controlled landing of a plane on water. But for the pilots, it's code for life or death.
We're gonna lower down underwater and submerge. Great reference point for you to use to find that jettison handle is a reference right off of your knee.
It won't do any good to survive the impact if they can't get out of the plane. And if they don't find that jettison handle, they might never get out. If Corey and Randy go down at sea, after impact, icy cold water will fill the cockpit in seconds.
It was a very eerie feeling. Your sinuses fill up, you're disoriented, you have no idea where you're at, you can't see anything. You have to use your position points to locate your emergency exit and to get out, all while holding your breath.
And if you got in there and didn't have a plan, didn't know what you're doing, I don't think you'd make it.
I could feel that little bit of fear or panic start to creep in a little bit, and it's not a good feeling at all.
While the going is still good, Corey wants to take off.
If we wait a few more hours, there'll just be embedded thunderstorms in the clouds. So we've got a window of just a short time to get off the ground to be able to make our destination where we'll be stuck somewhere.
Ready, cowboy? I'm ready.
Today's flight to Goose Bay, Canada will be overland. From there on, it's do or die. Back down south, over the Caribbean Sea, Carrie and Stu are playing chicken with a monster hurricane over 600 kilometers wide.
Just off the right of her nose, that's not good. 1 hour till hurricane time.
Carrie's gambling the Beechcraft Bonanza can outrun the storm and leave disaster in his rearview mirror.
Got a couple lightning strikes on the storm scope, yep. And there is a big thunderstorm right in front of us. That one right there, that's huge. Yeah. That one there is huge. I just saw lightning. We might be screwed.
If they can beat the storm, Stu has a chance to make it back to New York for the 9/11 memorial of the terror attacks.
If this hurricane delays us by a day, then I'm going to be left with having to make a very difficult decision on whether I can complete the trip or possibly not go to New York.
There's some pretty serious airplanes that have been destroyed in the air just by thunderstorm stuff, not a Category 2 or 3 hurricane.
We got to be careful too, though, because we're losing daylight.
Yeah.
If we go off course too far, we're going to get there after dark.
The 6-cylinder engine powers the Bonanza to a top speed of over 300 kilometers per hour, and they're knocking off some serious mileage. But their flight path is starting to look like a kamikaze mission. The aging Cessna has delivered Randy and Corey safely to their first fuel stop. Now they prepare to go head-to-head with the unforgiving and potentially deadly North Atlantic.
Well, Capitan, here we go.
Here we go.
Dude, my stomach's turning a little bit.
What do you mean by that?
You
feeling all right?
Man?
Putting on these survival suits brings home the danger.
Reality's setting in. This is a big flight. This is by far the most dangerous flight I've ever done. I just want to stay dry.
If the crash doesn't kill them, the cold water will in about 15 minutes. These high-tech survival suits might keep their blood warm and their hearts pumping long enough to get picked up alive by a rescue team.
It's gonna be hard to zip these up sitting down, you know?
In the tiny Cessna, there's no way and no time to put these suits on in an emergency, so they have to fly half zipped in.
The suit is like a full dry suit, and plus it has a liner in there to help keep your body warm. And so they're very bulky, they're hard, they're sweaty on the inside because it doesn't allow any water to get in at all. I mean, all the way from your toes up to your neck, you're trapped in that suit.
All right, she's climbing nicely.
This is no dress rehearsal. It's showtime.
No more land. We will not see land for many hours. Probably 99.9% of the people in the world that have never taken a single engine piston across the Atlantic. You know that?
What's that say about us?
We're badass mofos.
The first leg goes without a hitch.
Just get us there, old Cessna.
They dropped in on a Greenland airstrip and refueled. Now they're back up, looking at more than 1,000 kilometers of white-knuckled flying before their next stop, Reykjavik, Iceland.
Headwind's picking up. We just lost 5 knots in the last 5 minutes. Down to 122 knots ground speed.
It's been 20 hours since they left Rhode Island, and they'll be rubbing elbows in this cramped cockpit for at least another 5 hours before the next pit stop.
Your speed just keeps declining.
On this flight, it seems something is always going wrong, and they're starting to feel like they're riding in a flying coffin.
What's our ground speed? 99 knots.
Ground speed is the measure of the Cessna's speed relative to the Earth. And right now, a headwind is slowing down the plane, forcing the pilots to burn more fuel than they estimated.
But we can't maintain 95, 96 knots ground speed. We won't make it. We're gonna have to have some seriously improving performance, man, or we're gonna make this gonna be a short trip.
If the headwinds keep up at the current rate, their tanks could run dry before they reach their destination. So Corey does the math.
Okay, Randy, here's basically what I came up with. It took us 45 minutes to get to cruising altitude. We're right at that hour of fuel reserve with everything staying the same. I mean, it's right on that verge.
Before this trip, Corey's team built an extra fuel tank to extend the Cessna's range. They rigged the homemade 58-gallon tank into the passenger compartment, an additional piece of cargo that gives them enough fuel to cross the Atlantic. But it's like riding in a flying bomb.
can only go out this way for about another 20 or 30 minutes, or we're gonna have to turn around and go back.
I got no choice.
But now, even with the extra tank, the fuel levels are running dangerously low. And Randy's getting worried because they're approaching the point of no return.
I think whatever we're gonna do, we gotta do it now, figure it out now.
The point of no return is a go or no-go decision for a pilot. You only have the fuel to go forward, so even if you want to turn around, you can't make it.
I want you to look in that tank and tell me what you see. Or maybe I should do it, because I know I've been looking back there. I'll have a better gauge of how much fuel's in there. Okay. I'm gonna transfer control to you, okay? You have the airplane, I'm gonna unbuckle and go mess with this fuel tank. You have the airplane? Got the airplane.
The auxiliary fuel tank doesn't have a gauge, so Randy has to eyeball what fuel is left.
This is really difficult with these suits on, man. It's a pain in the ass. Oh, what was that? Okay? I'm taking off the cap. All of a sudden, that thing just flies up. It was like an explosion, man. I took a huge whiff of fumes, man, and I don't feel too good.
Fuel under high pressure just blew out of the tank into the cabin, and now it won't take more than a tiny spark to explode.
If I could choose one way not to die, I don't want to be burned to death. I think it's awful. And in an airplane, if you have a fire, it's something that can kill you very quickly, and there's nothing you can do.
Those fumes were nasty. All the electronics we got in here, fuel will burn, the vapors explode, and geez, we gotta be careful, man. We gotta keep this thing well ventilated.
Randy cracks open a window to clear out the gas fumes.
You need to check your pants, man. Did you hear me yell? I screamed like a little schoolgirl.
When the fuel tank blew in my face, I was able to, for whatever reason, keep my cool and keep operating that airplane. If you panic and quit thinking, you're dead, period.
But it's still a long way to the next pit stop. Back down south in the Caribbean, pilots Kerry McCauley and Stu Sprung are avoiding a fight they were guaranteed to lose by steering the Beechcraft Bonanza around a deadly hurricane.
It's gonna add about an hour or so onto our trip. Kind of stretch our fuel a bit, but we kind of got to do it now, because that looks pretty nasty. I don't want to wait until we're right in it. Let's run away and live to fly another day.
They veer off to avoid the monster winds and violent rains.
Boy, I'm really glad we got that hurricane behind us. I mean, that was a real stress builder.
It says St. Martin at 6. Would you say what sunset was?
7:30.
So if we can turn and burn in an hour, be there by 7.
No, we'll be there. Wait, it's only 3 hours to St. Martin. 3.5.
The good news is Hurricane Katia won't win this fight by a knockout. The bad news is the detour puts them in St. Martin after dark, and flying blind is never fun.
What really gets screwy with these islands at night is completely surrounded with blackness and just this little tiny strip of lights.
Oh, St. Martin, finally.
Hurricane missed you guys, huh?
We're always great when they're lucky when they miss us.
Kind of wanted to see it. I wanted to get a little closer. But yeah, it's not my airplane, so I should probably take good care of it. The owner might not appreciate hurricane damage. That's right.
A safe landing makes any day a good day. But Stu has other things and places on his mind.
Something will jam us up. I guarantee it. For me, when you get as lucky as we have on this trip, it's almost a sign that something's going to come down the chute and screw it all up. Every corner I turn, I'm expecting it. Every day, 2 or 3 things come up that could cause potential delays. We just don't know what they are until they hit us.
Back up north, Corey and Randy are approaching Iceland, with 30 minutes of fuel to spare and enough fumes in their jury-rigged tank to blow them halfway to the moon.
Wow, Corey, you come a long way on your fuel calculation since Australia. Go f yourself.
If Randy is unimpressed by his co-pilot's flight skills, he's not saying too much, because the co-pilot on this flight is also the boss, and he's signing the checks.
Let's get out of here, huh? That flight did not disappoint. The wind was terrible. Fuel problem.
That just makes it interesting, man.
That's right. Makes for a good story later,
Yeah.
right? As long as you make it.
Yeah.
Small businessmen like Corey don't survive long without learning how to cut a few corners. But there's something about flying a single-engine plane across the ocean that can make even the toughest men think twice.
This vent is supposed to be attached, and that starts to give me a clue to some of the problems we may have been having while we were having the explosion. Something not right with that. We gotta get a mechanic to take a look at that.
If the tank of extra fuel blew its top because it wasn't venting properly, Randy doesn't want that to happen again.
It doesn't look good. This thing is really up. And
something you can fix quickly, you think?
well, no, not quickly.
You know, we're really trying to get out of here.
Yeah, I believe that. So.
Randy and the mechanic both know they'll need at least a day or more to make the fix and to do it right. But for Corey, it's another crippling setback. He's over a month behind on the delivery of this plane. His reputation is on the line.
We've got to get the plane to the client, and there's a chance we're going to be here 3 or 4 days.
As for Randy, he's willing to do whatever it takes to deliver the plane safely, even if it means pulling rank on his co-pilot and boss. Way down south in the tropics, close to the equator, Carrie and Stu's Beechcraft Bonanza is 24 hours away from reaching their final destination, and their spirits are high.
Is this an old ferry trick? Ferry pilot trick that you have with the GPS? If we got a ditch in the ocean, I would like to ditch in front of a cruise ship because we'd be in the hot tub with a margarita within the hour. Where do I shut off the gas?
These pilots only met a few days ago, but the adventure has already turned them into old friends. It doesn't always work out that way.
Two pilots are flying together and their personalities don't click, it's really going to be a problem. 36 hours shoulder to shoulder with another guy will not be a lot of fun if you don't get along. You have a great sense of humor, shrug off the problems, and just keep flying. You'll have a great trip and you'll make a great ferry pilot.
Well, what we're going to do now is we're going to get some gas, file a flight plan, and hopefully make this stop less than an hour.
They're halfway through today's flight plan. If things keep going along, they'll reach Brazil by sundown.
All right, fueled up, ready to go. Flight plan's filed.
Not so fast. They're having issues with the registration for this plane, and they can't get permission for us to land in Brazil, so we can't take off.
On any other flight, a delay like this would be no big deal. But Stu has made it clear from the start, he promised his firefighter brothers he would be in New York for the 9/11 memorial, even if it means abandoning his captain today.
Hey, Corey, it's Stu. How you doing? So nothing from even the FAA, right?
This should have been done 2 weeks ago. Why do they wait till we're moments from entering Brazil to say, oh, hey, by the way, we
literally about to take off.
Why boss Corey didn't get the Brazilian paperwork done is a mystery. But if Stu bails out now, Corey will need a lot more than paperwork. He'll need a new pilot.
This is the delay that can't happen. This is not a small leg. It's not a leg that we can make up the next day. This is a whole day right here, down the tubes. We did make it through a hurricane, but we can't make it through Brazilian paperwork.
No pilot lands in a foreign country without permission, unless he's looking for free room and board.
Yeah, I don't feel like going to the Brazilian jail.
The only thing about that is they'll probably only take one of us to jail.
Yeah, but they
Well,
always
just
take
watch
the pretty one.
I'll make sure, I'll bring you some smokes in prison.
That's why I love you, man. You're always thinking of me, my well-being.
I know.
How can you make me comfortable in a Brazilian prison? Man, I'm touched. I'm so touched that you were thinking of me.
How's it going?
All that's left to do is kill time in town and hope for news from the office before it's too late.
Oh, Carrie, you're gonna love this.
What?
It's currently Independence Day in Brazil. So I'm having a hard time getting in touch with anybody.
No way.
But Stu doesn't have to say what they both know all too well. Time is running out fast. Corey and Randy have flown more than halfway across the frozen North Atlantic seas. And after being grounded for 48 hours in Iceland for repairs, the two of them are just dying to fly.
All right, buddy, it's game time. Let's get spooled up and let's get out of here. Okay? Gotta try and make up some of this time.
And Corey's got a lot to make up.
It's game day. We need to get this plane down to Poland. We have a job to do. The clients are waiting for us. Assuming that the weather is cooperating, we'll be in the air early and we'll get going.
The next leg will stretch the range of the old Cessna 206. Once again, they'll be relying on that homemade fuel tank. And Randy wants to make sure it doesn't explode again.
This flight's no joke. We've got about 600 miles of open ocean. We can't let down our guard now, because if this flight's taught you anything, the unexpected is gonna happen.
The next leg is a 6-hour journey to Scotland across the unforgiving North Atlantic. It's a lot of time in a single-engine plane, with no place to land if anything goes wrong.
We should already be there by now.
Corey's flying the same plane, but he's being driven by a different kind of engine, the money machine.
You gotta move quick, the wind's getting stronger.
Let's go, let's do it.
To Randy, Corey sounds less and less like a co-pilot, and more like a nervous businessman.
He's got to realize that flying, there's no mistakes. We got one shot at it. Hey, listen, I'm gonna fly this leg. You haven't been taking this flight seriously enough. I want to drive that point home with you, okay? So you're not gonna fly this leg, I'm gonna fly it until you start taking it a little more seriously.
Whatever you want.
Corey might be the boss, but Randy puts his foot down. This is one business where a shortcut can lead to disaster.
Got our checklist? Seatbelts, doors, and locks.
In the tropical heat of Guyana, Carrie and Stu have finally received authorization to land on Brazilian soil.
We've gotten the proper paperwork. CB was able to pull a rabbit out of the hat.
They're a full day behind schedule, and Stu's appointment with the New York 9/11 Memorial is coming up fast.
All right, let's get this show on the road.
Today doesn't go perfect. He's not going to be able to finish the trip and get to New York on time.
Gear up. Gear up.
Carrie is determined to do whatever it takes to make Stu finish the job. That's why he's decided to fly 2,700 kilometers from Georgetown, Guyana to Goiânia, Brazil, with just one fuel stop.
Wow, what is that? Looks like a huge,
there's a cliff
huge
there.
cliff and some, wow, this is cool.
This is the kind of flight that can remind even the most jaded pilot why he fell in love with flying.
Look at this, holy cow. That's huge. The whole thing just looks like it's out of the Lost World or something. Look at that. Wow. Unbelievable.
Pretty impressive.
Oh my God, awesome. You know, this is why I ferry fly. Who else gets a chance to do this? I got a new high point of my life. That was, woo, that was cool.
Over 1,000 kilometers later, they drop into Macapá for refueling and customs clearance. But there's a problem.
Él habla inglés. Es más tarde para customs.
Mañana. Mais ou menos.
Customs apparently is closed for the day, so that's can't be done. The runway is closed from 8 to noon for they're working on the runway. 8 to noon tomorrow.
It's like, really? I mean...
It's the bad news Stu had feared all along.
I have to say I'm a little speechless right now. There's no effing way I'm gonna be able to make it from here to anywhere else and make it to New York. This is my last stop. I'm done.
For Stu, this flight is over. But he still has to break the news to his boss, Corey, who's now flying as co-pilot on the flight to Poland.
It's the big blow that we were hoping wouldn't happen.
Up north, Corey and Randy reach the Green Highlands of Scotland. After flying the shaky Cessna over thousands of kilometers of treacherous ocean, the rolling hills below their wings have let them forget about their differences.
Well done, Capitan.
By the time we landed, I was really excited and like, wow, that was great. By the time we parked that airplane, I had tanked. I was really tired, really almost not even thinking quite straight anymore.
They might be exhausted, but Corey isn't wasting any time. He's determined to keep moving.
You have to have incredible stamina to do this type of flying. We put in a lot of hours in the cockpit every day. We don't get a ton of sleep, and we're expected to get up and do it the next day.
Sometimes, a pilot has nothing left to run on but sheer willpower.
It's very physically challenging. Jumping time zones, being at altitude where the air is less, and so that takes a physical toll on you. It knocks you on your ass sometimes.
That was a good one, dude. Man, I'm like fighting it hard over here.
Corey wants to be in Poland before sunset.
Next is the final destination into Poland. It's a little grass strip that we're going to be delivering the airplane to, so we've got to hurry and turn and burn and get it there. So, almost done. One more leg left.
That gives them just 2 hours to get the Cessna ready for takeoff. But Randy has just discovered they might need a little more time.
We have a strut problem. Our strut's starting to give us some issues, so need a few minutes to think it over and do a little further investigation on the airplane and a little closer look at the weather, and then I'll make a decision whether we're gonna go or not.
The strut connecting to the front landing gear is leaking oil. It's not bad enough to ground the Cessna, but if landing conditions aren't perfect, on touchdown, it could make the plane hard to handle, and Randy isn't going to chance it.
At our destination, which I just found out is a grass field, we're supposed to have rain showers and winds gusting 20 knots, gusting to 35 knots. That may keep us here for another day.
Randy knows that even without the faulty strut, a soggy runway and a strong crosswind could snap the Cessna's landing gear.
Right now, we're not sure the plane's ready, and we're not sure the weather's going to be good enough, so.
We need to get going, though. I mean, we have to get it there tonight.
We don't have to do anything. If it gets too late, we'll just have to stay.
Corey may be the boss, but Randy's word is law, and he's not backing down. A few hours later, Corey catches a lucky break.
Where I think we can go.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's looking good. Let's get the hell out of here. All right.
The weather cleared, so Randy said okay to setting out on the final leg to Poland.
Randy, it's going to be interesting when we land here in a couple minutes.
I know, man. We don't know what to expect. I mean, she could be really upset with us. She could be really happy. We don't know.
Now that they'll be landing soon, their thoughts have turned to their last and potentially biggest problem. one hard-nosed, no-nonsense Polish customer.
I think she's just extremely frustrated with the situation because this plane was supposed to be here almost a month ago. Hey, Corey, we're almost there. Let's do it right. All right, boss. There is a concrete strip right there.
The concrete runway should be a lot safer than a dirt strip.
Yeah, it's concrete, but it's all broken up. It's pretty cracked.
But there's only one way to find out if the leaky strut can absorb the shock of a bumpy landing. And now that the new owner is watching their final approach, they'd better put on a good show.
All right, Corey, this is it. Speed's looking good. Everything's looking good. Let's hope this runway surface is good. Pretty bumpy.
Yikes.
It's a good thing the customer's only watching from a distance, because it's one rough landing. But the gear holds up.
Well done, bro. Well done.
Hello. Congratulations, we finally got it here for you. There's the keys.
Thank you so much.
How are you?
I'm Corey
Benson.
Fine.
Nice
Hello,
to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
We brought you a little present,
Thank you.
as well as the plane that you've been
This is-
waiting for forever,
This
huh?
is my present.
Yeah.
Her skydiving school has been hemorrhaging money on the rental of another plane. But now that she's got her Cessna, she'll soon be out of the red. And that means Corey finally has a happy customer.
We definitely went through a lot for him, and you know, that's our job, and we're happy to do it. Well, it's better late than never. We got her here safely.
When we finally land and they're frustrated because it's a few days late, it's like, wait a minute, we just put our lives in our hand. We just crossed the ocean in a single engine piston, and come on.
Way down south in the tropics,
Hey, Corey, it's Stu. How you doing?
Carrie and Stu's mad race against time has come to an abrupt stop.
We just landed in Macapá. Customs was closed early, so we can't do any customs until tomorrow morning at 8. And the runway is closed for maintenance from 8 until noon tomorrow.
Stu is on the phone with boss Corey, who's just landed in Poland, and he's giving Corey the bad news. He's bailing out.
That basically kills it, so yeah, I'd be committed to leaving from here. So you're gonna come all the way down here to take my spot?
Stu is going to New York to the 9/11 memorial, and Corey is flying into Macapá to replace him, which means Carrie is temporarily grounded.
You're kidding me. Oh, shit. Am I forbidden to continue on? Can I meet him at the next stop? I mean, for me to sit here with a good airplane and...
The way Stu tells it, he held up his part of the bargain, but he's still splitting up the team and leaving a job unfinished.
It's tough for me to leave you because I'm worried that that's leaving you stranded.
Don't worry about me. I'll be all right. Yeah, it'll probably be easier. I won't have to listen to your boring stories. And... All right. I've done tons of trips like these, and far more dangerous, far more difficult by myself. To have someone come down here to help me for the last third of the trip is really unnecessary and just drives me nuts to have to wait.
Next time on Dangerous Flights, Corey steps in to finish the job, and Carrie puts him to the test.
This is definitely not the job for a wimpy pilot.
while Randy takes on his toughest challenge yet, flying into war-torn Africa in a type of plane he's never flown before.
Company operations manual is there.
That's a lot of reading.
Said you're an airline pilot, man. You'll figure it out.